The only sound in the little cottage was the soft, contented crackle of the fire. Mittens, a small, fluff white kitten with eyes the color of the midnight sky, sat nestled deep in the worn plaid armchair. He clutched his small brown bear Barnaby a bit tighter than usual. Outside the window, a relentless, glittering curtain of snow was falling, muffling the world into a deep, quiet white. Mittens had been told, "We'll be back in a jiffy, sweetie. Just a quick run for flour before the roads get bad." That was 2 hours ago. He tilted his head toward the hearth, letting the warmth soak into his blue and yellow striped sweater. He remembered the sweater's beginning. It was last year, during the first truly cold snap. He'd been staying in a drafty, cold kennel, feeling very small and very alone. Every day was the same dull ache of waiting. Then the door opened, and a pair of tall, kind legs stepped in. His mama's legs. She'd knelt down, her face framed by a smile like sunshine. "Well, hello there, little scrap," she'd whispered. Mittens had been so scared, he'd only managed a tiny, pathetic meow. But she hadn't flinched. She gently scooped him up, tucking him into the crook of her arm, and he'd smelt the wonderful scent of pine needles and something sweet like cinnamon. Later that week, after they had brought him home, his papa, a big, gruff-looking cat with an even bigger heart, had presented him with the sweater. "Every adventurer needs good gear," he'd rumbled, helping Mittens slip his little paws through the sleeves. It wasn't the material that warmed him now. It was the memory. The memory of feeling chosen, of belonging. He shifted, the soft leather of the chair creaking beneath him. His big blue eyes drifted from the fire to the window. The snow was piled high on the sill, erasing the line between the glass and the outside world. "They're just stuck in the snow," a rational voice whispered in his ear. "They're driving slowly. They're safe." But another voice, an old, cold, scared one, scraped at the edges of his mind. It was the voice from the time before, the time of cold floors and empty promises. What if they changed their minds? What if they realized they didn't really need a kitten? What if the storm was just an excuse? He squeezed Barnaby so tightly the poor bear's stuffing felt like it might burst. The feeling of abandonment was a hollow, heavy stone in his chest. It was an echo from the days when he was just a stray, watching other families walk by, too busy, too hurried, too complete to notice the small, shivering heap of white fur. Every time his new parents left, even for a moment, that stone would roll over, threatening to crush his fragile new world. He hated that fear. He hated that he couldn't simply know they were coming back. Holding on to hope. He blinked, pulling himself out of the dark thought. He had to be brave. He was their adventure kitten, wasn't he? He looked around the cozy room. On the side table were the books Mama liked to read, stories of faraway stars and grand adventures. Next to them, a mug of cocoa, left half-finished by Papa, its comforting steam long gone. He remembered Papa tucking him into his little bed last night. "You are our best gift, Mittens," he'd said, kissing the top of his head. "Never forget that." Papa didn't make promises he didn't keep. Mittens focused on the future, a warm, bright tapestry he and his parents were weaving together. He imagined what they'd do when they got back. They'd make the cookies they needed the flour for. Papa would let him help, lifting him onto the counter. Mama would sing a silly song about the gingerbread man who ran too slow. He'd climb into their bed later, snuggling between them, safe and sound, the ghost of the cold kennel finally fading away completely. His tail gave a tiny, hopeful twitch. He didn't need to fear the past, because the future was right here, waiting for them to walk back through the door. He settled deeper into the cushions, his little heart beating a steady drum of hope. The fire had burned down to embers, casting dancing orange shadows on the stone fireplace. The outside world was still a silent, snowy void. Mittens was just about to close his eyes and drift into a hopeful dream when suddenly the room was pierced by two sharp, bright beams. They swept across the far window, blindingly white against the blue night, then settled straight onto the snowy glass. They were the headlights of a car. Slowly, steadily, the lights moved, turning in an arc that could only mean one thing. A vehicle was pulling into their driveway. Mittens' wide, beautiful eyes fixed on the illuminated window. His breath hitched, and the heavy stone of fear instantly dissolved into a rush of pure, sweet relief.